Hey you guys, and welcome back to the Designer's Room where we go beyond the lash line. My name is Uni and I'm a lash designer, lash design mentor, as well as mother. I'm so happy to see so many new faces here. As you know, we start beyond the lash line. Lately, for me, mentally, I'm not gonna lie, it feels like my mental health has not been the greatest. Lashing is actually what has been keeping me sane right now. I struggle with anxiety. I find myself having like anxiety attacks for like almost a week or two straight. So that's where I've been kind of at mentally. It's not the best place to be. I feel like we know each other now, and it's okay for me to be transparent about these things. And it's okay for you to also go through these things too as a business owner, even with the amount of achievements that I feel like I have here at Poised. I can say in full transparency that my mental health has been a roller coaster through it all. And maybe someone needs to hear that they are not alone. And if that's you, I want to let you know that you are not alone. When things are outside of my control, that's when my anxiety rises. I try so hard to be perfect, and perfection is an illusion. I strive for perfection in absolutely everything. And when I feel like I'm less than that, my anxiety just goes through the roof. This is the reason why I tend to prioritize working out more than I do working. Moving my body and exercising has been the number one antidote for my mental health. It improves the way I show up in this space here. It is mandatory for me to work out at least 5 days a week. I literally feel when I do not work out, if I miss more than the 2 days off, my mental health starts to kind of decline. Exercising has been a way that I stay grounded in the midst of working through all of the things. I've been in therapy for the last going on 2 years now, and it's been the best thing that I've ever committed to. I don't know where I would be mentally without therapy. Have you ever felt like everything was falling apart? Not saying that everything for me is falling apart, but when you deal with anxiety, it feels like absolutely everything is falling apart, especially when you're being intentional with trying to keep things together. I'm learning lately that similar to when an earthquake happens, I like to use this reference, the tectonic plates shifting. When things are shifting, it causes in the moment so much chaos. But I also believe that I serve a God who is extremely intentional. So when things are moving, as long as I am walking in my faith, everything will fall into place as it should. And I'm a firm believer of that. I shouldn't be overwhelmed by the circumstances when I serve a God who I know has a will for my life that is much greater than what my feelings are in this very moment. There is a promise of peace, a promise of joy, and a promise of happiness at the end of all of this. Lashing has really grounded me because the quickest way for me to feel alive is if I'm pouring into someone else and seeing them come alive. Whether that's me in my lash mentorship or creating a lash design or creating some sort of transformation, a positive transformation in something, someone, it feeds me. I recently have been seeing people post this POV when your client comes in showing you inspos by Lionel lashes and sets with specialty curls you never used before. I was laughing at first when I had seen it and seen the comments. I'm extremely flattered. Thank you so much for thinking the best of my work. I appreciate that. I'm happy, I guess, that my work is that well known, but at the same time, I don't want people to feel limited in their artistry. And if anything, this has showed me that there is actually a lot of people who have that creative gap from where they are and where they want to be. And this space right here that I'm sharing with you all, this is to bridge that gap. Even if you don't want to invest in the ebook, the online course, the mentorship, this is to bridge the gap. So you can get a little bit insight of what it looks like to be on that side. I have this really quick story to tell you guys. So you know, when you do lashes, not all the time does your family support you. that's just what happens. I have never had a family member come and get lashes done by me and pay for the service ever. And I've been doing this for quite some time now. This is the case for a lot of people, but I've had a friend, she's a really great friend of mine. She was coming to me. Mind you, she was not my friend when she was coming to me. Context. She was just a client and she loved my work. She loved her lashes each and every time. She became extremely loyal. And over the course of years, we've actually grown our friendship. This past weekend, I spent the weekend with her and her family, and we're on this basis now where our kids are basically cousins, like Auntie Unique, Auntie Princess, like that's her name, my beautiful friend Princess. The relationship that we have built over time is so beautiful. And I had this moment where we had went to church together. This was our first time going to church together. And mind you, the conversations leading up to this point were all God-centered, we're all growth-centered, where it was such a beautiful series of conversations to have with someone. It was breathtaking to hear the empowerment. And our talks lasted till like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I had a moment of going to church with my once lash client, now friend, and we like are praying together, and it was one of the most beautiful moments ever. And I opened my eyes and my friend, she's crying, and I'm like on the brink of crying. It was such a beautiful moment to know that lashing is actually what brought us together. If I'd never started lashing, she would have never came to see me, and I would have never gained such a beautiful friendship. If anything, lashing has been such a source of healing for me in so many regards. The friendship I have with her heals me, like in so many different ways. It heals the part of me that feels like maybe I can't have friends, because a lot of the friends, when I had my business, they never supported or they grew envious of the business. So it made me feel like I didn't have the capacity to have and hold friendships where someone's cheering you on and I'm always cheering her on and she's always cheering me on. And I don't know, I love her so much. I think she's going to watch this episode. If you're watching this, Princess, I love you. You're so sweet and you're so kind. I hope that this also lets other lash artists know it's okay to have those beautiful friendships with your clients, because your clients will sometimes root for you more than the people you expect to. You know, they don't have to root for you at the end of the day, but at the end of the day, who doesn't want their family to root for them? It is so important to have friends that root for you. And I realize that not everyone who is viewing has their faith within God. And you are more than welcome to be here. For me, the importance of having God-centered friendships is extremely high. When I'm going through things, I consult with my friends who also know the God that I serve. My friends give me advice that is aligned with higher values and not maliciousness, or girl, just drink a whole bottle of tequila, or girl, let's go out and party, or girl, just go sleep with woo-de-woo. You know, the advice is not centered on the world. It's centered within spiritual development. And that is key. If your friend is speaking life into you, that life into you will then go into your business, and then you're going to be a light and life within your business naturally. If your friend is going to suggest that you do things that are opposite of what your higher self should be doing, then it's going to pour into the lashing space where you show up, and this is where your business is. It's extremely important that you have friendships where you're equally yoked, where your values align. We're at the Lash Line today with Bella Hadid. Bella Hadid has some of the most unique features I've ever seen. Outside of her celebrity status, as you can see, I have a front-facing photo as well as a side-facing photo for Bella, and this is extremely important. The way that I'm going to go through this analysis is the same way that I encourage people that I mentor to go through an appointment. This would be considered a case study. The context goes deeper than just how she looks. It goes into the circumstance. As you see, we have our frontal photo here. We want to start by analyzing her eye shape, eye depth, as well as her eye distance. She does not have neither upturned or downturned eyes, but we do see here an obvious hood. And a hood, if you don't know, is the crease is hidden by a fold of skin. The hood is slight, but it is definitely there, and it's definitely something to consider. Next, we're going to go to her side profile image. This is important for assessing the depth of her eyes. She has deep set eyes. As you can see, her brow bone hovers over her eyes, as well as the crease of her eye is tucked within that hover. So naturally, Bella Hadid would be considered to have slightly hooded, deep set eyes. Just for good measure, we're going to go ahead and see if they are evenly spaced, which I do believe that they are. They are evenly spaced. With that being said, Bella Hadid has slightly hooded, deep set, and average distance eyes. We do not stop there though. Here's a scenario setup. Bella is attending an international fashion gala with heavy flash photography and close-up editorial shots. Lifestyle considerations. She's constantly photographed, changes makeup looks often, and needs a lash set that adapts to both high glam and no makeup days. Her client preferences. She wants something striking, yet with minimal maintenance between events. There are quite a few things to outline here, also considering how she looks. Her most important feature to address would be her deep set eyes. If you've been a student before, to satisfy her most primary as well as her secondary feature, her primary being deep set, her secondary would be hooded. Emphasis on the slight hood because that matters. Another honorable mention. She is attending an international fashion gala with heavy flash photography and close-up editorial shots. This is important to note because it directly involves adjusting the density of your lash set. You want something where it is natural enough to where it doesn't cast in photographs. And with that being said, we're not going to be doing any set that is too voluminous. What immediately comes to mind is a Versa technique. And if you know, Versa is actually a specialty technique that I created that opens the eye as well as elongates the eye. And Versa, as you know, a lot of the times I'll use L curl too. I would have leaned maybe anime, but anime sets require a lot of maintenance. Those spikes tend to fall out or they get displaced a lot sooner, and maintenance is definitely one. I wouldn't do the texture technique because it just is not ideal for her life as a model or in between shoots and such. This is the mapping that I would more than likely do for her. So let's walk through this map, you guys. I tend to mark my highest point first because it gives me a better idea of how the rest of the eye is going to flow. It also prevents me from doing anything just too contradictory in the other areas, especially when the highest point is the most important focal point in a lash set. When that highest point ends, I made the decision to do a L curl transition, and that's the reason why the lashes look like they're pointing outwards, because L curl has that very unique curl. We have to have that be considered within the drawing. Additionally, I've marked this map with 3 different colors because the black will serve as the base, the blue will serve as pyramid spiking, and the red will serve as normal, regular, or dual enhancement spikes. Next, we have lash pulling towards that end, as well as very much so notating that only 2 to 3 mm of that space towards the outer corner will account for those L curl lashes. So we have pyramid spikes, dual enhancement, regular spikes, as well as divergent fanning to cover that base area. We want a kitten eye flow for the base, and then for our accents and where we're going to add more personality to the set, we may have some open eye influence. That's just my initial thoughts. So this is heavily Versa inspired. I love to draw on paper, so you'll see my actual sketch here. The iPad is kind of like limiting me a little bit, but I believe the sketch to the right, you'll be able to see a lot more of the map come to life. I did add a little bit of bottoms to the set, but bottoms are totally optional, especially with the circumstances and the client scenario we had talked about. But this is the mapping I would do for Bella. I think it flatters her a lot, and let me know what you guys think. What you just seen here, us breaking down Bella's set, is the core of Poised Lux and a core of the techniques that I share within my mentorship, within my ebooks and such. This is the reason why in the Method to the Madness series, I named it that for a reason. Method to the Madness. People don't know what the heck is going on. That's the madness. You need to know what is going on. That's the method, right? I named it Method to the Madness because it does not just give you lash maps. It gives you client scenarios. It gives you my thought process. You are put in my mind as I am actually formulating these lash maps for the first time. This includes client considerations as well as client feedback or even comparison between mappings for the same said client and their feedback on each one. This is what matters in developing your artistry. You are moving beyond just looking on Pinterest for a lash map. You are actually entering into an era of providing experiences based on the client. A lot of the techniques and concepts mentioned during this entire process, they're taught within my mentorship as well as the Method to the Madness series. And if you're going to be joining us this fall for our fall tour, they are taught there as well. Speaking of my mentorship, it's such a full circle moment right now for my lash designer to produce this work I'm going to put on screen. We've been working for about 6 months now, and we've been working not only on her technique, but also on developing ebooks for her too. I just want to help her become a better version of who she was when I had met her, and to see her work develop like this and to see her now step into diversifying her income streams, it makes me so happy. A lot of you guys ask me, how can you learn my technique? And I have so many resources out there. It's crazy. I have the Method to the Madness series that I told you guys about that actually walks you through the process, similar to what you've seen here in this episode with us breaking down Bella Hadid's lashes. And that is chef's kiss, amazing resource. Everyone loves it. Next, we have DLDU, Designing Lashes, Defining You, the ultimate online course. I got rid of all of my online courses just to offer this one. It's an 8-week mentorship style online course that teaches you all the techniques, all the specialty skills, as well as building a business that is luxury and that attracts high value clientele. You learn all of that within 8 weeks. Next, you have monthly mentorship, which is more tailored to your pace, and we go over absolutely everything. Mentorship has been so transformative because no matter where you are, you're able to learn. You can always schedule a consultation at no cost to you so we can go over what would work the best for you. And then of course we have our fall tour that's coming up. We're hitting Dallas, Houston, Chicago, New York, Toronto, as well as Sacramento. And we're going to be popping up with these specialty skills as well as Unique by Poised Lux strip lashes, which I have one right now in the style Love Is, which is my favorite style ever. If you are new here, I highly suggest watching the rest of our videos. And I want you guys to let me know what you want to hear next. I feel the community is growing. I feel you all would love to hear what I have to teach you all at the Lash Line or even our talks beyond the Lash Line. Please let me know in the comments. Comment what you would like me to talk about next. Comment what you think of this episode. I would highly appreciate it. That is all for today, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Designer's Room, and I will see you again next week. Bye.